Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is what people are seeing and experiencing in everyday life when it comes to being of the prepared mind. And I get sent pictures and emails and videos. And if you would like to do so, my email's in the description box below. So this first email comes in with some really great pictures from a community member. And she said, I periodically check the LDS cannery on their website, rice, beans, oatmeal, and pasta. I've been getting things for many years from them for camping trips, etc. The prices have doubled, which is sad, but these number 10 cans are already ready for long term. I thought I'd help others know of the LDS cannery. With all the storages, they majority of the time have these items and all the and more. Just think outside the box for your food pantry for long term. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I know a lot of people that buy from the LDS cannery, and even though their prices have doubled, they still, the product is really great, and you still get more bang for your buck from them. That's in my opinion though. But thank you for sending me these. I love it. So here is an email with some pictures sent in from a community member. She said, this was on the 1st at 2:30. We pay $3.29. In the morning, it went up to $3.48 for gas. It jumped. Wow, that's crazy. It's same thing's happening here too. Thank you for sending these in. So now time for a commercial break because the community member sent me a picture of their cat. She's laying on their pillow with a wet towel under her. So here's an email from a community member, and she said, I haven't written in a while. Life is just chaotic. You too, huh? She said, I actually joined a prepping group in my area. It's a bit tough with my anxiety, but thankfully the woman who started it has become a friend and she understands. Went to my first meeting with them last month and it went well. We'll have a meeting every month. In September, the meeting will actually be, okay, a gun cleaning class. I learned to shoot, but I was never taught how to clean them. I want to start carrying when I'm out and about, but won't until I know how to properly clean and maintain. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, that's a good way of doing things, you know. She said, but about Wood Forest Bank, I wanted to let everyone know it's a very bad bank. My mother had an account there. Even though it was obvious when meeting and speaking to my mom in the past 10 years that everything was very off with her, but I struggled getting anyone to take me seriously when I would try to get her evaluated, mainly because she was still verbal. And when I asked her how she was, she'd say, healthy as a horse. Aw. Wood Forest Bank allowed her to add someone who wasn't a blood relative or a holder of legal POA to her account. Really? Okay. Her, as she called him a friend, was put onto her bank account. In December 2020, he dumped my mother out on the side of the road close to a relative's house and then drove off. Oh my God. She was pretty much nonverbal at this point. He then cleaned out and closed her bank account. Putting himself on the account made it extremely hard for me to get her into a nursing home. Oh, when I spoke to the bank, they were very rude and treated me like I was a criminal trying to steal from someone. All I needed was a paper saying the account was closed. But because his name was on it, they wouldn't release any information or even just type me up a letter. They also wouldn't release any information to the nursing home. I should add, I have a POA for my mother, and even with this Wood Forest Bank, wouldn't even give me a simple letter stating that the account was closed. I went round and round with the staff. I even requested that they call our lawyer, but they refused. Even after I explained why the letter was needed and that I didn't need any personal information, just a statement that the account was closed. Nothing. I finally had to just give the nursing home their phone number and wish them luck. Oh my God. I told them that the account was closed, but the bank refused to give me anything saying that, or even to mail a letter directly to the nursing home. I have no clue if they ever got any proof that they needed her for her paperwork, but she's still there, so I suppose they got what they needed. I really recommend that anyone using wood forest get out while they can. I really don't trust them at all. Yeah, that's absurd that they would allow that to even happen. I'm not sure how other areas are doing, but I live in a very rural area. Things are getting so bad, most of the town is putting cameras on their property. I just added more cameras myself. I did, yeah. I just need a memory card, then mine can be put up. We've had trespassing, theft, strange vehicles driving around in circles just watching houses. What? We've had cars parked in the dark watching houses, odd people just wandering in the town in the middle of the night. We've had one of a few stores broken into, car thefts, and now they're starting stealing gas from people's vehicles at night. I went to one of the bigger nearby towns and cops were out in force. Traffic accidents are up. People seem to have no patience anymore and will even pass on the shoulder of a construction zone. I bought 17 items at Walmart yesterday and it was a little over $80. I hate to even leave the house anymore, so I stay home unless I don't have a choice. Oh, same here. Same here. About the Sound of Freedom, did you hear AMC theaters are doing to people that they want to see the movie? Yes, I did. I did. I heard about there's no sound, there's sound and there's no movie and stuff like that, no picture and stuff like that. Yeah, I heard all about it. They canceled the tickets. They said there was no AC in the theater. Yeah, I heard all about it. Pretending that the movie was broken and wouldn't play. Yes, I heard all about this. Showed it being sold out when it wasn't sold out. Yep. One group said it showed them it was sold out, but only 8 people were there to watch it. They either don't want people to see it or it's just another shiny object. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yep. Oh, wow. So, oh, you didn't get the newsletter? All right, I'll send it to you right now. Okay. Thank you for sending me this email. Wow. Eye open. No kidding. Wow. So here is an email from a community member with some pictures. She said, remember when you mentioned how prepping helps ourselves, our families, as well as our neighbors? You were so right. I do. I remember saying that. I don't know how many times. She said, we had several storms burst over the weekend with wind and rain. Our neighbor's tree fell and cut their home in half. What? The blue part of the roof is the sky. Get out of here. Are you serious? Luckily, the couple was not hurt and their family has been supportive. However, we didn't yet know this, so we all sent running over to assist. There was literally a line of us. Some had coffee, had invitations to come and stay, had several meal bags and a portable sterno stove and matches. Turned out their son was there, so they went to stay at his house. They are safe. The most important thing here is that a loving, supportive family and concerned community showed up immediately to offer assistance. An emergency can happen at any time. If we are prepared, we can help others and save others. We were without power and internet for 3 days, and yet all I could think about was how blessed we are. Emergencies also require emergency mindset. Keep prepping, everyone. Maybe it won't be for your own needs, but you can bet it will come in handy nevertheless. Wow, look at these this is insane. Now here's a picture that was sent in by a community member. Can you imagine going to the store and picking up a bag of carrots and then realizing where they were grown? It's called, not today, Satan, I'm not eating these. And before I go, I leave you with these videos. I hope you enjoy them. They're very educational and very interesting. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Ciao.
So I've been talking about electroculture success stories. Wait till you see this one.
It's a couple couple of weeks since I spoke to you last, and here we have another insane bumper crop of veggies that have come from a handful of plants. And quite frankly, there is no reason for hunger in the world for the sake of a bit of wire and some copper. This came from a courgette plant. How insane is the size of this? This is, you know, the size of the cucumbers we're getting, and they are juicy, they are sweet, they are huge. So anybody can do this for the sake of getting a piece of copper, winding it round a stick or a piece of bamboo, getting a some fat antenna that you can create and shoving it in the ground next to your plants. This is the result that you will get, and I'm immensely proud of it. I'm not used to growing vegetables. I've never done it in my life before. This is my first attempt, and I couldn't be prouder. What makes me even happier is that I'm able to take this down to the Chard Hub for the people who don't have gardens, who don't have any food, and we can share this wonderful bounty. So, as I keep saying, electroculture rocks, and I'm really pleased to be showing you this.
We're at a pivotal point in history. I'm sure many of you sense that. It's not to be understated. We're undergoing such a transition in the world. Many have compared the coming events to like the parting of the Red Sea. Well, this is far beyond that. The scope is much bigger. It covers the entire planet as we're nearing a point of the collapse. And they announced that in the last 12 months, 200 billion in deposits have left Chase Bank. This is huge, folks. We have the makings of a banking apocalypse unlike anything we've ever seen in our lives. The military's been on mass movement throughout the United States. There have been heavily movements in 27 states. There's more coming. We've even seen it here locally. They were literally driving a tank down the main drag here in town. It was unbelievable. So a lot of choppers going overhead, military aircraft. Everybody's like, what's going on? Well, we're actually in the midst of the roundup, and they're kind of doing this strategically because they can't. This isn't something you can do in one day. It's just too big for that. So they're doing it in pieces. And what we're beginning to hear reports of is that internet outages are happening in some areas for an hour, for 2 hours, or 3 hours, and it comes back on. Well, these dark periods are so that they can do their stuff that they need to do in terms of taking these people into custody and can stop their communications with any of the outside people. So you're going to continue to hear of this. You'll probably begin to hear of testing of the emergency broadcast system in various areas. There was actually some testing going on in Florida today of the EBS. This is all preparation for the EBS that goes nationwide when we get to that point. So Germany is on the just a trigger edge of complete financial collapse. They're not saying anything about this, but they are in big trouble. Deutsche Bank, big trouble. When this begins to hit, the first thing that'll happen is all credit will freeze up. Well, what does that mean? I mean, suddenly your plastic doesn't work anymore. We could possibly hit the point of the wealth transfer beginning this month. I realize there's only 11 days left. It's not a lot of time, but at the movement that this is moving in terms of activity and what's being exposed, things could move very rapidly. What I do expect in terms of some of the historical assets and revaluation of currencies is that some of that will take place during the quiet time. In other words, when the EBS happens, there's going to be stay in your homes. There's going to be 10 days of communication blackout, or at least that's what we're hearing. And they're could be during that time, even appointments being made and transactions being done very quietly in the background. This will be all with heavy NDAs. No one's supposed to talk about their transactions, talk about where they get their money or anything like this. It's going to take some time to work through that. I think between now and let's say into September or maybe late September, so the next 2 months plus, we could be seeing those things take place in the background. I think by the time we get into late September, it's going to be publicly in the face of everyone, hey, there's a financial change occurring here. Some of the things that we've been seeing over the last week here is train derailments continuing. We've had 3 additional quite nasty ones, spilling chemicals and stuff. The deep state has been using trains to move, shall we say, cargo that they shouldn't be moving. And so there's some of these are having to be initiated, unfortunately, to stop the movements of this stuff. And others is the deep state trying to cause a catastrophe, such as chemicals in the water, in the ground, something of this nature that they can distract the public with of some new catastrophe while they carry on what they're doing. So these things are all evidences of the war that were underway here, and that the good guys are winning. I want you guys to realize we're winning every day now. There are battles being won, and you should not be discouraged. In fact, you should be more excited than ever right now, because there's nothing they can do to stop the impending justice. It's barreling down on them like a freight train, and they don't know how to stop it. But it's exciting that we're getting to this point, that we've gotten. This was kind of a top-down thing. They had to work their way down, but now we're getting into those middle people, those lower-level deep staters. By the time we get to EBS, there won't be any big names to round up. They've already been handled. Okay, so that'll be good news, because I think when people find out, when things are revealed and they realize what kind of criminality was going on, what kind of things were happening, and especially the tie-in with the children and what was going on with that, they're going to be angry. And so how do you calm the masses down that are angry? Well, you begin tribunals and you begin justice so that they feel that it's been taken care of. So we can expect that to come.
America has pissed off the rest of the world. We've been the bully with this thing. We're now a credit-based economy. In other words, we print fake money and we spread it throughout the world. But the rest of the world is actually producing the food, the gold, the silver, the machinery, and all this. So finally, the rest of the world said, enough's enough. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That was the original BRICS. And now they're gaining force.
It's not just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You have well over a dozen countries that have already applied, such as Algeria and Argentina and Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Nicaragua, Turkey, Indonesia, Senegal, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Egypt, Kazakhstan, and the biggest one of all, Saudi Arabia, has formally applied to the BRICS nations. Kazakhstan, Indonesia, Thailand, all of these countries and their neighbors that are growing together are forming a massive, very imposing, not only from a GDP, but you put all these countries together and their military might is very, very strong as well. And those are the BRICS plus. Now they're talking about adding more countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Bolivia, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, Azerbaijan, Mongolia, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam. The list goes on and on.
So the rest of the world is saying, enough of you sending us your toilet paper.
That's exactly right.
You take our materials, you take our production, you take this, and you send us this trash here.
So today we're going to talk about how we're building back better by banning these healthy bulbs to replace them with fluorescent, non-earth friendly bulbs and LEDs, which are linked to cataracts and emit radio frequencies. So we all know the thing about LEDs are going to save us money. Well, how much? 11 cents per kilowatt per hour. Well, if I had an incandescent bulb, I would pay the exact same price. The only difference is this incandescent bulb might last a little bit less than this LED bulb. Now, what's interesting about the back of these boxes, it talks about how all these LED bulbs are working on a radio frequency. This harmful interference to radio or television or people, which is not mentioned. And it actually talks about the FCC rules. Now, remember, the FCC cannot be sued for any damages caused by radio frequency. So then you have these fluorescent bulbs, which are marketed as earth-friendly and last 5 times one, which is actually not true. Well, what's interesting is check this. Lamps contain mercury. They also contain lead and other hazardous materials, but they're low, so it's not a big deal if you just throw them in the garbage. This is earth-friendly, which is funny, and also emit radio frequencies, which can disrupt radios, televisions, wireless telephones, remote controls, and beeping. So then we go to the bulbs that they want to ban, which actually last 3,000 hours. And if you notice, when you turn this back around just like this, there's no warning label that talks about how it emits radio frequencies or disrupts light. Interesting.